Hi, everybody. I'm going to hang out here for just a moment as we find our video. Let's see here. I'm just like all of you. I have to find it in the feed too. Hopefully it's going to come up. There it is. Okay, let me get it. And then my going. Oh, let me do that. Let me unmute that. This. Hang on one second. I'm going to pull you up on Facebook and uh, do you guys hear me? I'm not sure. Just give me a thumbs up or let me know. I'm having a little bit of an issue here. Yep, that's working. Oops, let me put this back up. There we go. Oh, it seems to be okay. All right. There. Oh, I see it now. Okay, now it's back. See if I can mute that one. All right, there we go. All right, so welcome to Spa Day. Look, I'm all ready. Got my little towel on my head. I've got my robe on here. We've got some other things too off to the side, which I'll show you in a minute. I just want to make sure we're all set here before we get going. But this is Spa Day, and we will be creating you can create your own little logo. This came all from the machine. I even did a net fill because it's going on the knit. And then you can see, which way do I have to look? This way. You can see I added it to my turban here, so my head wrap. So you can put it on there. Now, the thing with this head wrap, I could not find a white one, and I have some white with these gray, I don't know, ferns on them. So I took this apart yesterday and sewed it back together with the white side out so I could have a nice white one to go with this. And I got this idea. We did our bathroom reno, and then our kids were coming to visit, and they were going to be the first guests to use our reno. There were other things upstairs that needed to be done that weren't ready when they got here, but that's okay. At least the bathroom was ready. And so I thought I'd make them some robes and some things for them to use in the bathroom. And I wasn't sure, if they would, hop on the whole wear the robe kind of thing. And we also have a hot tub in our little addition on our house. And they came down one night in their robe with their slippers on, going to the hot tub. So I thought that was so cute. So at least then they really liked having the robe. So that was very, very nice. All right. I can see we have a few people out there. What do we have? There we go. Let me show you the whole little ensemble that I did. And I still have a few more things I think I want to do. I just haven't finished. Every time I do another one, I think of one more thing I could put this on and go from there. So, but I don't want to overdo my my bathroom. And I was going to start, let me see where my mouse went. I was going to start up there in the bathroom and show you it in there, but and predominantly we have a green. I painted our bathroom, I had our bathroom painted green, and I have this sort of a fern modern shower thing and whatever. So it looks very, very nice, but it's upstairs and I'm around the hall. So I would have to like get everything carried around and down the stairs and down here. And it would just take up way too much time. And of course we had a little volume issue here at the beginning. So I didn't want to risk one more thing happening. So let me get my camera on. I'm going to move this here and I'll show you what we have over here. And I'll pick these up to show you. So here we go. This is the whole ensemble. So, and we do have the robe. That's what I'm wearing. And then I do have my turban on, so you can see that. And then I did the towels. And I also did the slippers. So let me bring the slipper closer so you can see that. Let me get that right in front. There you go. Now this one was interesting. I did this and I stitched it on some wash away stabilizer and a piece of organza. So there's, let me make sure I don't have it. There we go. So there's one that's ready to go here. It's on the organza and it does have the wash away behind it like that. And I hooped it and I stitched two of these in the hoop. And I'm just going to put it on this one right here. And after I rinsed it out, I pressed it into place with my fingers. And then I just did a little hand stitching around there. I was going to do it, you know, more like a patch with another outline, but I didn't. It already has an outline. I just didn't want a double outline. So you can definitely, if you want to put things on areas that you can't get in your machine, like I can't get this slipper in my machine. I mean, yeah, I don't want to take it apart. And then, but I could sew it on the organza. And even my net fill is in there too. I left the net fill. I probably could have taken the net fill out and let the organza sit in there, but I think I wanted less shiny stuff, so it looked more like this. There we go. Okay. And then, of course, you see the robe. I'm going to get close here if I can. I don't know if I can put this up to the camera. I have to kind of look. There we go. So you can kind of see it that way. Let me hold it. There we go. Like this. There we go. And then, of course, I did a towel. Now, last week I did a little presentation at the office. I was at the office doing all kinds of videos and stuff. And when I did this one, I have both my S9 and a CM17 here. I used AccuSetter so I could put this on this side of my little washcloth. Like I wanted it on one edge. I didn't want it in the center because I like hanging my towels kind of like this. So I put it off to one side and then I used AccuSetter to get it perfectly placed right there on the towel. Now, last week when I showed this, I actually created, I said, you know, Heinz Spa down here and pretended to put it in the band, but I did not stitch it in the band. I don't really need to do that part of it, but I wanted to show how you can use AccuSetter for perfect placement. So there we go. And of course, I do print out, you know, I do a printout just to see, like I pinned this to the turban. And then when I laid it in the hoop and hooped it up, I just aligned my design to where this was using AccuSetter. And it was perfect. It went in there just perfect. Okay, there we go. All right, so let me get these things off to the side here. And I'll put my front-facing camera on so we can go from there. There we go. And I'll take a seat. Okay, let me see if there's any questions. It seems like everybody's out there, but it's pretty quiet. So hopefully everyone can hear me. I always get nervous. And I don't know if the other comments, if I have to read comments over here. Oh, I do. I don't know why it's doing that. Okay. I have two sets of comments. I have comments that come through my my streaming, and then I have it on my Facebook over here. So I don't know. This is kind of hard. All right, everyone. Let's see who's out there. Oh, we have Joanne and Marie and Rithea, is it Retha? And then Pamela, Barbara is here. And, oh, Pam, are there two Pamelas? I mean, it might be two Pamelas. All right, I'm just gonna move this off to the side. All right, so let me show you how I went about doing this in the software. It really is pretty easy. And I used things that were already in the software. I didn't have to create anything. So I'm gonna move to the software. Let's see here, there we go. All right, and here we are in the software. And I'll move my little windows out of the way. So what I did, and you can see it here, I'm going to pull this in first and show you one of the things I did so that it's easier to remember. So once I got this, as I created this, I went up here under File and Design Properties. And in, oops, no, okay, wait a minute. Maybe not in that one. Let me cancel this one. Maybe it's the other one I opened. Let me go to my USB stick. And here it is here. I might have put it in this one. So I used my design properties up here, or one of them. Excuse me for this, because I had it all set up when I started. And you know how that is. Okay, let me look in here. This one here, and design properties. All right, well, I did write in my design properties the font I used and the design I used, so it was in here, and it's probably saved into one of these. I'll look in one more spot, maybe this one, and see if it's there. Nope. Okay, for some reason it didn't save. But anyways, when you're working, it's good to open those design properties, and then when you save your design, it saves with your design. So you don't have to go looking for, remember, how many times have we gone looking for our font and we didn't find it? And I probably didn't say okay when I got done with it, and that's why it didn't save with it. But that's how you would do it. So let me show you where I got this design. And I'm just going to move a few things over here on my screen. And I'll move the design over a little bit like that. To get this design, I went up to Tools and Clip Art Library, Insert Clip Art. And then I scrolled down through here looking for designs like, when I get to them here, these things here. Some borders, and there's different clip arts here that you could use, these kind of things you could use, and none of them were speaking to me. And so I kept scrolling, but there's a lot to use. You might find this might make a nice one to put your initial in. And then I kept going because I know there's more down here. There's these corners. And I thought, well, maybe a corner might work. I don't know. But none of those jumped out. I have used those for other things. This one here, I used to make a cutwork file one time in a pillow. So I'm going to go down here. It's under sides is the one I was using. And I'm going to flip pretty quick here. And they are, keep going. Now those patterns we just went by, don't click on those right yet. They're not ready to go. There we go, we're getting close. Okay, so these are the sides, and there's several of them. And I just went through kind of looking at them, trying to figure out which one I liked. And as I went down here, I came across one that I thought would work, that I kind of like the shape of. And it is down here. It's number 61. Here we go, this one here. So when you select it and go to insert, you can see there's an arrow going from left to right. So I'm going to pop in here and I'm going to go left to right to open my piece. There it is. Okay. So I started with this, and let me click off of that. I started with this. Actually, I'm going to bring it up this way so we can see it. And then I needed it to be in two pieces because I only needed one of these. So I'm going to select it, and then I'm going to do break apart. And now there's two of them. And I deleted this top one. And the reason I know that is I wanted, let me turn these so you can see them better. I just want to turn one of them. All right, let me ungroup them. There we go. All right. So there's that one. And then when I did this one, let me go up here. I kind of like the shape of how this one was going in this kind of a shape. So I just deleted that one, and you can pick whatever you like. So I deleted one of them, and then I went in here and I decided, I don't need these. And since I did break apart, I just need to select the parts I don't want and delete like that. And then this little guy up here, I don't need that. So I'm going to select that and delete it, which left me with this design right here. And then I could just make it bigger. And I could use the arrows on the edges here like this and make it a bigger one. There we go. And when I do that, I do like to look to make sure that, all the satin stitch is how I want it to be. Because if there's any changes I need to make, I could do it in my properties, and I'll turn properties on. It is a satin fill, which I like because then I could use my stitch flow tool if any of my things are not going in the right direction. I could use the direction tool. I could use divide if I wanted to divide this top part up here. Okay, and I could make other changes in there too if I needed to change the density of this. This looks pretty, and I probably don't have it that size yet. So let me size that back up. There we go. So it gets a little more full when you get it bigger. Now it is in a couple parts, so I have to be careful moving it. So I want to keep it together. So I'm going to go in here and group it so it'll stay together. So now when I select it, I get all of it. Okay. And I'm just going to check really quick. There we go. Make sure we don't have any questions. All right. So once I got it there, I wanted to go find a font that I liked. And what I did is I'm just going to move this to one side. I'm going to go to my lettering, and I'm just going to, click right here. I'm just going to make it grow right there. And I'm going to put in a capital H, and this happens to be the font. So it's the pre-digitized, the XPG, and this is 052. So this design here is sides 61, and this font is XPG 062. There we go. And then I just kind of grabbed it and moved it right in here like this. And I turned, see how I have this turned? I turned my outer design using this rotate here like that till I got it kind of, on the side a little bit. And then I could go back in and bring my H in there. And I could rotate my H as well this way, because that curve of the H can kind of fit right in here like that. And I might need to rotate this one a little bit more. So you can see I played with it a little bit, trying to get it just exactly, there we go, exactly how I want it. And on my H, I went ahead, I don't like the outline, so I deleted the outline down here in my used colors. There I have a nice H. And then you can see in this one, it has these ridges, right? That's because this is a satin stitch right here. And we're going to zoom in. And it's a pretty wide satin. Let me see, I'll measure it. This part right here to there is over 1/4 inch. And now I know I'm going to have it on a robe. I'm going to have it on a towel, all those things. So I know I can't, I know I need to fix that. And I'm going to rotate this a little bit more. And you can be as fiddly as you want. I may need to shrink this just a little bit. So I'm going to use my percentage and then proportional touch. And I'm going to do 98, just a little bit down. And then I can move it over just slightly to the side. Let me go here and use there we go. Like that. There we go. I use my arrow key to move it over. So now I'm going to select it, and in properties, I'm going to go to satin, and then I'm going to go to a satin pattern. And in here, I'm going to type W at the top, and I want wide satin. Now you could use anything you want, but I wanted the wide satin. And then in the wide satin, you can change the length of the stitch here to get the amount of ridges that you want. So you get it where you like it. Maybe you like a lot of ridges like this, or maybe you only want, I really just wanted like 3. And I knew that would be enough to break up those satin stitches for me. So, and I might even beef up my density just a little bit here. There we go. Just to make that a little more dense on there. So now I pretty much have the basic design. One of the things, as I'm getting going, I also like to start saving my design. So I will go to File and then Save As. And I would make a folder to put it in. And this is my AD Live. And then I'm going to make a new folder. I got to find, down at the bottom here. New folder. And I'm just going to call it June 2025. And then I'll name this, I'll give this a name, and I'll just call it, let's see at the top here. I'll name it, I don't know, let's say Family 1. There we go. And save. So that way, as I work along, I can just hit save up here and save my changes so that I don't lose, sometimes things happen and you lose what you're doing as you go along. Okay. So that's one thing. When I'll do a test stitch out on this just to see if this is going to be too dense for me. I will do a test stitch out on that. Yeah. And it may be a little dense. I may just have to turn the density down just a bit so that it, but you can do a little test stitch out just to see how it's working for you. And I did size it up and size it down, especially for the slipper. That was a tiny one. And it was done on the, what do you call that? On the organza. And it actually, when you size it down, it does make it just a regular one row of satin stitches. Okay. All right. So once I got this done, I did know that I'm going to need to get some net fill behind it so that when I put it on these towels and things like that, I, you do want to have some net fill to hold everything down. Now I could select this here and try to use the convert auto border to the outside, remove holes and running. We could do that. And then let me just see. Let me make it pink. Nope, that's not what I wanted to do. I want to come in here close so you guys can see it. Here we go. But it went inside and outside. You see how it went inside and outside? So that's not what I want, even though I said remove holes. The reason it did that is it's not connected. It's not connected really. So I don't want to do that. So I'm going to undo and not use that for my outline. I'm just going to use my digitize outline shape tool, and I'm going to create my outline over here. So we go over here and you go to digitize, outline shape, and then I'm just going to, I'm going to start with, I have the context tools turned on. So to get a square node, I need to hold shift and left click. And then if I just left click, I will get the corner nodes. And then I'm going to try to move this way. There we go. And I might want something in the middle here. There we go, just to hold that down. And one here, and then shift and click there. Let's go up. I could probably go all the way up here and change that one. Anytime you need to back up or change one, just hit delete or backspace. Okay, then I'm going to go here, and I have a little window I have to get out of the way. Hang on, let's backspace there. And then I'm going to come back here, and there's my shape. I'm going to select it, and then I'm going to come in here to fill and net fill, and there's my net fill. I'm going to change the color. I have to turn my colors on. There we go. And let me put them back over here like this. There we go. And I'm going to make it pink so we can see it. Now, right now, the order is where it's going to stitch the blue part first and then the pink, and that's not what I want. So I'm going to go up here to auto, and then I'm going to move down here to the bottom, and I'm going to select the pink, and I'm just going to move it back 2 spots so that it's below my work. And you can see, though, now it's leaving some openings right here. I don't want that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to my properties and remove overlaps. I'm going to say never. And then I'm going to go to the blue parts, and I'm going to go remove overlaps, never. Let's see, that is never. Let's see what's going on. Oh, maybe I didn't get that one in. No, that one's there. Okay. Oh, maybe I didn't get this part. There we go. There we go. There it is. So now I know it'll stitch all the pink first, which will be white actually. It'll stitch this first, and then it'll do this part here. Now I do have a little bit of an outline around it, and I like that, you know, that a little straight stitch run line outline. I don't mind that. If I need to adjust this at all, make it closer or further apart, I can just select it, go to my edit nodes, and work with the nodes. So maybe, and I don't mind this little straight part because the top of this is straight. I think I'm a pretty good distance away. I don't want to be too far away. I could have made an oval shape and used that for my net fill, but I really wanted a more custom fit to my net fill. And then from here, I just did different things with it. So let me go back to this one here. This is the small one. So I brought this down to, it is like, let me see, it is, yeah, like 1 1/4 by, let me select 1 1/4 by almost 1 1/2. So that's pretty tiny. And it's stitched very, very nice. I'm going to hold it up here in a second so you can see that. Hang on. Grab this. Let me get my camera, my front-facing camera on here. There we go. And okay, back to this. There we go. So let me bring that in close. And let me turn it this way so we have it in the right way. There. So it really stitched very nice on the organza. And then I have, this is on the organza by itself. I haven't rinsed this one off yet. So you can see the organza here, and then my wash away stabilizer. I like the mesh type wash away. If I'm using a topper, I like to use the clear, the see-through ones. So on the towel and on these robes and on my turban up here, when I went to stitch that, I hooped everything because I was using AccuSetter to put it in the right place. And I did put a piece of clear wash away on top of that, okay, a topper. And then I used my basting function to hold it in. Instead of putting pins in there, just a little basting around there, used my baste function, and it came out just so easy. So these look really, I'm really pleased with this. I'm really, really happy. I'm trying to think, back in the old days, remember we used to do things like this, and then we would like wet it and put it on like a bar of soap so it looked like it was part of the soap. I remember way back when I did the toilet paper, and I did maybe I'll do one on the toilet paper next time before they come. And probably what I'll do is you do it on a strip of toilet paper, and then you just have to wrap it on the roll so it's sticking out just so they can see it, and my kids will think I've, gone a little crazy, but I like it. I like being a little crazy. It's kind of fun over here. All right, let me see if there's any questions. I don't see anything coming up over here, and I'm going to look over here. Let me see. Everybody's so quiet. So how many of you are going to start working on, I could have just put a big H on here and that might look kind of silly, but this little design reminds me, my husband's likes space stuff. He's into airplane. Well, he worked on airplanes and stuff. So he likes space and aircraft and stuff. And this looked kind of, like the Jetsons or something. That's what it reminded me of. As soon as I saw it, I'm like, ooh, I want to use that. So make sure you're looking through the clip art. That's under Tools, Insert Clip Art, or Clip Art, Insert Clip Art. And then, there's a lot of, there's some designs in there that are okay. But the ones that are sides and corners and the ones that are like borders and things like that, they really have some pretty designs in there that you can, use for other things. I've used some of those for other things as well. In fact, one of them a long time ago, I made it really big, like 3 feet by whatever in the software. And then I printed it. I made it into an applique I had to cut out. So I printed it out in sections and then I, taped it all together. So, you can use I like to use my software for as much as I can. So it's very helpful. All right, I'll wait just a second. Crazy good. Yeah, crazy is good. So anyways, I should take a picture of myself and send it to my kids. This is what I'm working in today. And so we'll see how that goes. All right. Does anybody have any questions? I'll just let you know. Well, last week I had so much fun at the office. Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, I did a bunch of filming for something special. And then in the Monday, Tuesday in the morning, I was doing some sales events for one of our dealers. So it was very, very busy. And then at the end of the week, I went to Urban Society in Westfield, New Jersey for an event. And I tried to do my live on Thursday, but I had Wi-Fi issues. So I'm working on getting that redone and then I'll repost it. But I'll be back tomorrow for the Continental Club right here on the Janome Sewing Machine page. I'm doing a little bit on our big gal back there. We're going to talk about the cloth guide and favorite stitch. Two of the things that I think sometimes get overlooked, like we don't know they're there or what they're for. So I want to show you that so you know I know what to do with that. Okay. All right. Oh yeah, Claudia, you can wait from, yeah. Oh yeah, that sunset from the software is really nice too. Yeah, there's a little like, I want to call it a little Dutch design I like in there that I use, and a couple floral ones. Every time I go in, I find something new. But right now, there are some ones that look like patterns. They look like quilt patterns. Those are, I don't know if they're truly active yet, because when I click on them, my software closes. So skip the patterns for now. I think they're coming, or they will be. And then we'll go from there. Also, we just had another build update. So we're at 8945. And if you didn't do the last one, you're okay. You can go to check for updates in your software, and then you'll find it. Now, if it doesn't pop up, close your software and restart your computer, and then open your software again and then check for updates. It'll come up. And then and say yes. And then it comes up with that scary window that it wants to take over your computer. Say yes, that's okay. And let it do its thing. Just keep just answering the prompts as they come up. And that added some new machines, not for Janome, I don't think, but whatever new machines, new hoops, and some other things that they needed to do. They're all the background things, okay? They're all background things. Little build updates are backgrounds. When we have a real update or an upgrade, that's when there's big mega things that will be changed, okay? All right, I'm going to look down here one more time for any questions. Yeah, I mean, really. Oh, hi, Kathleen. And Claudia, no problem. I know you can catch it later. All right, everyone, I'm going to let you go. I know it's short for me. I usually go much longer, but I'm trying to keep them, short and tidy. So we will see you. Stop by again tomorrow. I'll be back here. My spa day will be over. So I'm just, I'm going to put my feet up now with my little slippies on and relax a little bit. Maybe someone will bring me chocolate bonbons and I can have those.
All right, everyone. Have a great day. We'll see you again tomorrow. Bye.